Originally, this video was going to be heavily script oriented, but then I decided that, a lot of my past videos that got attention, they weren't really, they were mostly off script, but this will be kind of a combination between script and off script. The term less is more has become something that I've been thinking about a lot recently, and how it's changed over the years. The one thing that I always think about when it comes to less is more is the whole argument quantity over quality. Originally in the fast food industry, I always use this as an example, where, like, let's take McDonald's. McDonald's was originally a brothers-centered restaurant that had quality food. Some guy came in, swindled the brothers into making the McDonald's into a franchise, and over time the quality was lost due to quantity. People want their food in a timely manner, and that would be sacrificing the quality just to get the food out in time. And then the same example could be argued for video games or, TV series. Mostly video games though. How if a game lacks gameplay or story or depth, they think they could just shoehorn customization features and whatever else, tack on multiplayer. And even the other thing that I would argue as well is pointless side quests. When it comes to movies, if a movie sucks for its story, they think they can make up the movie from action scenes, and they're using these hole fillers to get their, it's because they think that the audience will still watch the movie or still play the game if they fill in those holes that the game or the movie lacks. And at the end of the day, like, this is a business after all. The entertainment industry is a business, and they will always sacrifice quality over quantity because they want more people. They want less of a product because they know that people will buy a game if they have that one feature, or they'll watch the movie if they have those decent scenes or cinematography or acting, or you still feel for the characters, but the story doesn't make sense. It's not about the product. It's about altering the product so that because that's what makes the money. So the whole argument with, like, appealing to the modern audience, they will literally shoehorn or force political messages down your throat because they think that having this stuff will appeal to activists and they'll buy the game. I use this, when I think of this, I think of more of the CEO's side of thinking rather than, or boardroom thinking, basically mindless zombies agreeing with trends and thinking that they'll be getting more people to play their game if they do this, which that's not true. The whole thing with modern remakes, modern remasters have been sacrificing the integrity of the original IP just so they can get more modern gamers to play this new thing, because they won't be attracted to gangsters and crime. They'll be attracted to fun customization that they can make their characters look like a Fortnite skin. Or worst case scenario is when they make a story so dumb that they literally they take a heroic antagonist and they just strip them to the point where, like, they're just so emotional fragile and they're always dealing with shit, and they're basically like they're a punching bag throughout the story because for you to feel for that character. It's honestly dumb. It doesn't make a lot of sense. With movies, that's the other thing too. Like, you know, they might throw in a character of a certain group, that can mean anything, by the way, and overtake the original's characters, like, I don't want to say manlyhood, but like their stardom, and then they're becoming the new star, and then this is going to spark a franchise, and then they're going to start marketing a new franchise with the new character, and they're just going to get rid of the character that everybody likes because they think that that's going to sell. Or maybe you just have an ego boosted maniac that's in charge of everything, that they want to do their own fan fiction style of writing, and again, that won't sell. That will just be like, you know, they're just doing what they want. And maybe they might appeal to the people that they think they're trying, or maybe they'll appeal to the people that they want them to like the movie. But even then, sometimes that can backfire. I don't know what the hell people were thinking with that one show Velma, but what I do know is that the person in charge of it was, you know, kind of a dumbass. Like the same thing here, like ego boosted, making things for the sake of what they want to see, and not for the things that, not making the show for what their audience wants to see. There are some good exceptions though in terms of what's to come. I can't really like review things that aren't out yet, but like Futurama, I have hope for it. Clone High, I have hope for it as well. Those two shows were originally good, you know, timeless masterpieces that I think will hold up in that charm today. And I genuinely don't think that they could fail in ways that other shows could, unless they get some stupid moron in charge. And that stupid moron could be anyone. It's all the matter of whoever's the big person in charge of hiring whoever to, like, you know, make whatever. It's almost all the time it's their fault. Really blame them than blame the show's creator, because there's someone that put them in charge specifically because they thought they either think they can trust them, or they know, or they genuinely believe in this person's vision that they're going to let them destroy everything. But yeah, that's my take on that. Yeah, but in terms of brand recognition, you know, as a lot of people see these IPs and they flock to it because, you know, they're well-known IPs. They made a lot of money, and if they played the older games, well, or watched the older movies, it's basically, you know, it's milking the nostalgia, and it's getting the people in to play a game that they think that they're going to enjoy. When it comes to you know, everything could be said, you know, Saints Row, everybody thought they were getting a gangster game, and instead it was made by people that didn't even know how to make video games. And then the other thing is, you know, indie companies have to try really hard to promote their game because they don't have a lot of driving force to get their games out there and get people to like see what's going on in the indie scene, because a lot of, and I genuinely find it so sad because everybody was going on about Forspoken. I was going on about the SpongeBob game. The SpongeBob game looked more fun than Forspoken, and a lot of people said that too. I was genuinely excited about the new SpongeBob game than I was about Forspoken, because Forspoken, not to mention the genre, I didn't understand what it was, and if it had to do with sorcery, that's not my type of thing. Same thing goes for Hogwarts, but we'll get to that one. A lot of problems with today's commercialism is appearing to the quote-unquote modern audience, or in the way how I view things, because there's really two groups at the end of the day. Because you got millennials acting like Gen Z kids, and then you got the Gen Z kids that think that they know what's right. Again, Hogwarts Legacy, we'll get to that. But a lot of the time, when it comes to this sort of thing, companies will like I said, shoehorn messages in or shove the message down your throat because they want to get activists supporting their games, and they think that getting a bunch or shoving stuff into their game to get people, talk about a political discussion and whatever the hell is the right thing to do. It's not. It really isn't. Because video games are for escapism. We shouldn't be, saying that, it was one period in time we were allowed to have this in a game, but now we're not. I'm gonna go with Destroy All Humans developers' statement on that one. However, that's not to say that there's ways of doing stuff like that it's an eye roll. Having an eye roll thing in the game, it might piss off some people, like mostly on the right, because they see representation of anything, then it's automatic, like Fox News worthy. But aside from that, a lot of the time they think that modern audience basically means destroying a story, adding in characters they're not wrong when it comes to movies, at least. Adding in characters that represent certain audiences to become the hero and basically get rid of what made the original stories of that IP great in the past. That can be games, that could be movies, whatever way you look at it. We're never gonna be able to have a no Russian mission in a Call of Duty game ever again. I think a lot of material in open world games has been toned down because, we think for something that's been known for escapism. I don't even know why these things have been dumbed down at this point. It's either people are complaining, people that aren't even going to play the game to begin with, or maybe they are actually marketing mature games towards kids. I find that side of things to be honest, probably the truth. And it's the same way like how GTA Online marketed themselves. One of the updates, like the cutting stunts DLC. When I saw that as a younger individual, I'd be like, oh yeah, this is cool. GTA, this is GTA Online. This looks like Trackmania. And rocket bikes, colorful things. Everybody and every company knows that they are doing that because they want younger audiences to play their mature games. And I think that's a psychological aspect of marketing that I honestly don't agree with. But at the same time, I can't really say the same thing for myself, because when I was younger, was a mature game that got my attention. I never played it, but a game that I was morbidly obsessed with was Mad World on the Wii. I watched videos on that game, and I think it was just the style, and then it was also Sin City also kind of got me hooked on the overall style of the game, and I don't know what it was, but I think it was the comic book aspect of it. But that made me want to play a game. All this neon bullshit that just kind of blends together with whatever new release game, and a lot of these outfits, this is meant for kids. Like, this is for Fortnite people. Add some more black outfits and more, and like, if you are gonna go neon, go the full Scene Kid route. Don't go like this half-ass psychedelic festival in the forest. Or like Riders Republic. Like, I'm not for that. Go the full Scene Kid route if you're gonna do neon. I could do a complete comparison with the I honestly look at the video game industry now as like how the alternative scene became. At the end of the day, you have a group of people that are, originally these things are made for those groups of people, whether they be, teens, young adults, and now gaming has kind of affected everyone to the point where even grandmas and elderly people play them. They originally, the alternative scene, it was around for the outcasts in high school that would get bullied for, the way they dress, the way the music they listen to. When Mortal Kombat came out, I believe that's when the age system became a thing, and then games were started to be marketed more towards adults only, like Grand Theft Auto. With the introduction of Twitch is what really, I think, is what started the whole revolution when it comes to gaming, because that, streamer ends up getting so many followers, ends up becoming an influencer, ends up becoming on the news. Everybody wants to follow in their footsteps because gaming is or playing the game that they love is what got them to the top, and everybody thinks they can do the same thing. Or maybe people just, watch someone playing a game and they want to go out and buy it themselves. And then that's when the companies think, hey, we have these people buying the game now, maybe we should start appealing to them. It's an ongoing cycle that has been happening for probably the last couple years, I would say. A lot of games aren't going the full 100% now. They're doing 50-50, or 50 and then the 50 in the next year. They release half a game, or mostly a broken game. They fix it over time, over months, over a year, or they have less content, and then they add the content in throughout the year. I am against the idea of paying for half a game or less than half a game and then getting my content for the rest of the year. If that's the case now, I might as well just go out and buy an old console so I can get a full game experience. It's so stupid. And the same thing can be said about the music industry, a lot of we got to be careful who we talk about, but there are some bands that do either play their old hits within their new albums, or they just make half of what they're capable of just for radio play, and they don't really care about the fans. It's all about just getting on the radio or getting on TikTok to become popular for a couple days. DLC is the biggest outlying, or I guess maybe the underdog in this video, because as much as I didn't talk about it, it is the only thing that developers or companies will put in their games and will focus more on than the actual game itself, because that's how they get more money. Rockstar Games is a great example. They don't fix anything, but they just keep adding more cars, more sameness, more missions that you've already played before. Hell, I guess I'll link a video down in the description by Dempy. Dempy is GTA Online. I would use the term crusader that goes against griefers and puts them in their places. He made a video about how there's a recent God mode glitch in GTA Online that has been causing problems, and it's ironic because GTA Online on the PC was basically unplayable like a week ago, and now Xbox, PlayStation, they're all having that problem because of the taxi place that they added. The more fans, or I guess gamers, support these companies in doing this stuff, they basically want a gaming year or the gaming to be 2014 quality, which is, at this point we're almost getting into that territory. The best example I would use is Battlefield 2140 or whatever the hell it was called, but the Battlefield game when that came out, I immediately thought, oh shit, are we actually gonna, like, EA mess this up so badly? Like, are we going to go into 2014 quality of gaming? And then we had Saints Row, we had Forspoken, all this stuff is like, it's starting to hit towards 2014 gaming. 2014 gaming is, in my opinion, still probably one of the worst years for gaming ever. A lot of the games sucked that year, and the quote-unquote maybe good ones were either indie games or games that were almost on the decent factor, or most likely on the decent factor. And another thing too, in terms of the quote-unquote modern audience, I've heard some people say that, you know, a lot of the drive to get people to play games nowadays is having less gameplay and focus more on the story, the characters, and the graphics. That can be a double-edged sword because, you know, I'm one who loves Life is Strange or even Heavy Rain, great games, but that's not to say that I want to, but that is to say that I do not want to have games or to come out in the recent years to be like clones of that, or if not, almost as lackluster as those games, because those games are, you know, tied specifically towards specific audiences. They're for people that aren't really gamers, and then it's more or less like an argument, you know, how God of War was like a hack and slash game, and now it's just slowly movement, action adventure kind of thing. I've never played it. I don't really want to play it. God of War 3 is still like, you know, the GOAT in the franchise. And I do laugh at like how speedrunners speedrun these new games and then developers react to them. You know, IGN, shout out to you. I want to know what's going through their minds. What would make you want to replay a bare bones generic game of this century? I mean, if it appeals to you, it appeals to you, but like, come on. Like, you really found enjoyment in that experience. I will never get that. There's a reason why I'm not interested in buying a PlayStation 5, and that's basically because the PlayStation 5 offers less than the Xbox, and Sony lied about the whole PlayStation Plus thing. Here I am waiting for Burnout 3 Takedown, here I'm waiting for the Revenge, here I am waiting for Simpsons in Run, here I am waiting for Time Splitters, here I am waiting for whatever else the hell I wanted to play on PlayStation 2 that isn't on the storefront because Sony lied. They are only releasing PSP games, and even then, with PSP, give me the flat out game on PSP. Give me the Burnout game on PSP. Give me Pursuit Force. Give me Pursuit Force. I want to play those games, Sony. Like, just release them on the store so I can, like, it's so dumb. If you want to play Toy Story 3, hey, you're playing Toy Story 3 on PSP. You're not playing it on PS3, which is the superior version. PS3 is one of my all-time favorite games from my childhood, and I cannot play it unless I have my PS3 in front of me. And the same thing goes for even Battlefront 2. Battlefront was gonna be released the PSP version, not the PS2. Like, Sony, why did you lie? Just come out and say, yeah, we lied. PS2 is not going to be really supported. But even then, PSP games, I can name a list of what you can give me, and I'll be satisfied. Even if I can't play Time Splitters or Simpsons Hit and Run. And it's bullshit that I have to pay over $175 for 12 months just so I can either play whatever's free on PS4 or whatever game I decide to stream through the cloud service. I saw a TikTok of someone basically playing every game part of the Game Pass, and I think I'm going to do the same thing. I think I'm going to play through every game on the PlayStation Plus Premium because, minus the ones that I can't stream, just so I can, like, we'll call that something. We'll give it a special name for that playthrough. But that's going to be fun. And also might suck at the same time. Who knows? But yeah, you're not getting good AAA titles, and you're not even getting a lot of the good old games. You're either having to cloud stream, which is, I wanted to actually stream Saints Row 2 live so I could have fun and everybody could watch me play, because this was the game. This is my favorite game of all time, and this is the game that literally solidified my love for gaming in general. And I can't stream it. Like, you're forcing me to get a friggin' capture card. I'd rather buy a Retro Station or a Steam Deck over the PlayStation 5. I don't fucking care what anybody says. The Retro Station has, like, a lot of classics, like banger after banger, Dreamcast, GameCube, PlayStation 1, you can name it. I want to play those rather than whatever the hell comes out this year, aside from Trail Out. And then next to that, Steam Deck is mobile. Steam Deck I can play Flat Out Ultimate Carnage on. It's just, again, those two things are far better than a PlayStation 5. I don't understand why the PlayStation 5 is so popular. It's ass. I don't want one. And the same thing can be said for Xbox, but I don't really know much about Xbox to make an argument there. I'm sure it offers more than the PlayStation 5, but at the same time, it doesn't compete against a Retro Station and a Steam Deck. That being said, we're going to go into the more, controversial category. First off, Ubisoft. They're burning. They're burning really badly, and originally when I made this video, I didn't know about the Far Cry 7 thing, so apparently Far Cry 7 is going to be made as a separate multiplayer component. Good on them. Cool. It's not what I wanted. I wanted another Far Cry 5 arcade experience, so I'm not really liking that. Splinter Cell, it's like, that could be a hit or miss. And the other thing too is, because of its recent failures, which they kept doing, and the CEO deserves to be put in his place. The fact that he decided to chase trends and make it so that all those games would fail is just... I don't understand. I hope either a great company buys Ubisoft or Ubisoft somehow digs their way out of this. I don't think Far Cry 7 is going to be as good as people are making it out to be, and even regardless of how the multiplayer is labeled, I just don't think it's going to make enough money. And whatever else they have cooking in store, I think it's going to just burn down the kitchen along with the company, and at this point, I hope another company saves them. And then Netflix is probably my, if not second, least favorite company of all time. They canceled Inside Job, which was a fantastic show if you like Futurama. And honestly, like the amount of stuff that they keep putting out there, and the CEO of that company also deserves to suffer consequences as well, because he said that the shows that were canceled only had small communities and they weren't really quote-unquote popular, which is bullshit. A lot of people were loving Inside Job because Inside Job had a strong character dynamic, dynamic that you wouldn't see in all the other shows like Big Mouth or whatever else was there. F is for Family was a great show, and I'm honestly surprised that lasted 4 seasons, while Inside Job technically didn't even get a season 1, or technically didn't get a season 2. No, technically didn't get a season 2 or season 3. Yeah, the only thing that's keeping me with Netflix is documentaries. I love documentaries, but at the same time, if those documentaries go to another streaming service, I will flock to that streaming service as fast as possible. I don't think anybody should support Netflix anymore. They're heinous, and a lot of the stuff they put out on there isn't even really good. Pale Blue Eye was one exception. And Hogwarts Legacy. this will not have to do with the game itself, nor will it have to do with the controversy with J.K. Rowling. This has to do with how people perceive and think activism works. Activism does not work in the way that if you harass people that you want to support you, that's just not activism. Activism is like fighting for a cause that doesn't involve burning burning your subjects that you want to fight with, or that you want them to fight with you. It's like you can't catch a fish with vinegar, which is, it's basically, it applies here. And yes, that's stolen from Mudahar's video. As someone that, it's not my job to be an activist, but it's a part of my work, have you ever heard of a community development project? Either, if you're not in college, seek out whatever community you're a part of, talk to them about, a fundraiser or whatever the hell. That will get attention, and that will not be, it's not bullying random people into taking down some figure that isn't even going to be affected in the first place. That's the thing. This is a Kingslayer idea or movement. Yeah, this is a Kingslayer movement that will go nowhere. You think you're cutting off their water supply by telling people not to buy the game? You're basically not delivering her breakfast at the. It's pebbles in the water. It's not. You're not like. It's not going to make a huge splash because. We're talking about a billionaire here. We're talking about like there were other games. There was the Lego Harry Potter, there's the friggin' rides, there's the friggin' movies, there's the books. Unless all that stuff is just vanished from thin air, or sent under the Earth's atmosphere, there won't be an effect. So yeah. Moral of the story, if you want to be an activist, don't be a celebrity activist, and don't be an activist that complains on Twitter. Talk to your community, whoever you're a part of. If there's agencies within your community, and talk about, and it doesn't have to be a fundraiser, but look into a community development project. Not only does it affect the people within your, or helps the people in your community, it raises raise attention in a positive light. So just don't do that. Don't have a Kingslayer mentality, and don't bully people for no reason. If people want to play a video game based on their favorite franchise, let them. It doesn't do much. It won't do anything, pretty much, honestly. And like, I'm working on a community development project, and it doesn't even matter what group of people I'm with. Like, I'm helping out the community. That's not helping out the community. That's you're literally bullying the people that you want to be on your side. I wanted to make this video for a long time, but originally I thought it was going to be in separate parts, like music industry, gaming industry, entertainment industry, like regarding movies and series. However, then I've just been pissed with all these things, and it's more like a rant than anything else, so I wanted to compile that into an actual, separate, categorized video. A lot of movies, TV, music, everybody says that it's not what it used to be, and in some ways they're right, but at the same time there are people that are still continuing the grind to this day to appeal to their fans, to appeal to people that want the stuff they want. Gaming is it may be on the indie side, but there's some really good games out there that a lot of people don't know about. Trail Out is one. If you wanted to play a modern flat out game that isn't bad, isn't as bad as like the 4 and 3, Trail Out is basically flat out. If you want to play a modernized version of SWAT 4, Ready or Not has you covered. You just gotta look. You know, the real reason why we have streaming services is so we don't have to pay real money to own physical copies of stuff we don't want. Think about that. I'm going through my movie collection and I watched Cocktail for the first time. It was easily one of the most nothing movies I've ever watched, and I'm so glad that, I mean, it's not a good analogy because I have it physical, but if I watched it on Netflix, I've been like, this movie's awful. I am not buying this. And then, there's still stuff that we don't have. You know, thank God for One Tree Hill for being put on Amazon, but there's still stuff that we want to watch that aren't on streaming services. Duckman is a movie that, or Duckman is a series that I think has 4 seasons that I wanted to watch. That's not available anywhere, I don't think. Same thing can be said about certain movies. But again, there's some more ethical reasons behind those, like Basketball Diaries. It's the only movie I want to watch, or I've wanted to watch for a long time. Can't find it anywhere. And then there's, a lot of times you have to rely to go to YouTube to watch things. A huge example for this video is The Founder. The Founder is the movie that's based on the real story of how McDonald's became, an actual, well, not a corporation. Is it not a corporation, but like a real company. Started off as one restaurant, Buddy came in, swindled the brothers, and then just got the franchise. Yeah, that's the word. And then turned McDonald's into a franchise. They got screwed at the end. That's kind of how everything is going now. Things were good in the past, and now either we have new CEOs, we have new dingbats that are following trends to just drive their companies to the ground and make games that people don't want. It is truly a different world than we expected from the 1990s. Peace.